Hi, I'm Tim Naftali. I'm faculty director of the Public Policy undergraduate major, and I'm just delighted to talk to you about our major today with Adrian Smith, who is public policy advisor. There are times when people don't ask themselves why study public policy, and this is one of those. Every day, in fact, every hour of every day, those of us who are experiencing the pandemic, those of us who are reacting to the political turmoil in Washington, D.C., those of us who see the homeless on the streets of whichever city we're living in at the moment, and those of us who still have the memory of the protests this summer, the Black Lives Matter protests, and why they happened. In other words, all of us understand the importance, the imperative of better public policy. Public policy, whether designed to remove the structures that continue racism or the structures that make it harder for economic advancement, or the structures that make us such a divided polity, each of these challenges, every one of them, is of great concern to us all, but especially to you, the next generation. Our major is designed and was designed to encourage you not only to make policy, but to understand it and to persuade and teach others who are interested or could be interested in the opportunity to use public power, or the power of non-governmental organizations, or the power of persuasion through private organizations to make ours a better society. This is just one of those moments when you don't need to explain, why am I studying public policy? You look around yourself, you ask yourselves about the realities of today, and you know, oh my goodness, this is the time. This is the time to participate, to be aware, and to make a change. Our program at NYU is relatively young. We graduated our first class in 2017, and you can see the numbers. Now, last in 2020, we graduated to 53 people. Our program is much more than numbers, but we just wanted to share with you these numbers to give you a sense that we've doubled in size. And we've doubled in size because of the quality of the professors I'm going to describe to you, but also because of the quality of your commitment to public policy. There was a need at NYU. There was a hole, if you will, that needed to be filled. There were programs that and majors that dealt with aspects of public policy. Obviously, in economics, you have to think about elements of policy, of applied economics. And in political science, you also had to think about how you applied the rules that you were learning, the traditions that you were learning about the American and other political systems. And in history, you learned about past public policy. You learned about past societies, or you learned about your own society and how it had dealt with challenges before the current day. Our program brings those different issues together and expertise together to help give you the skills you will need eventually to make public policy as part of a team or on your own, if you will. We established a relationship in 2019 with the history department in the College of Arts and Science. And so our program is a unified program of Wagner School and the history department in the broader CAS. Here you have a sense of just a few members of our faculty. Jenna and Suin both teach required courses. Adrian will be talking to you about the requirements. Jennifer and Mitchell teach electives that you can apply to meeting the requirements for the major. One of the advantages of having the history department as our partner is that you can take there are many different history courses that are eligible to be counted as part of your requirements. And so it'll give you a sense of the backstory, if you will, the context to the political and policy challenges of today.
So I'm going to talk about the major requirements really quick. So we have a 10-course program with one prerequisite. The prerequisite is the Intro to Microeconomics. It is a true prerequisite for our Econ and Public Policy course, but most of these courses, and especially the core courses and the electives, can be taken at any time. I get a lot of questions from students about when is best to take the Politics of Public Policy or elective courses, and they're waiting for the prerequisite. I say start now. You do need the prerequisite soon. You'll need it by the end of sophomore year at the latest, but it's always good to dive in sooner than later to see if this is the right major for you. A lot of the courses that we offer or that we count towards the major are across disciplines and departments at NYU. This is very unique about our major in particular, in contrast to a department where you're having to take all the courses in one department. We pull from all of these different departments and disciplines. It's a great way to get exposure to a lot of different places in NYU and be taught by a variety of faculty. One awesome, great thing about the major is that a lot of the courses that count towards the major and the core courses are course equivalents for the BA, MPA, MUP program, which is a dual degree program with Wagner. So if you're curious or considering grad school, being in this major will already give you kind of a leg up to pursuing this BA, MPA, or MUP. I'm going to pass it back to Tim to talk about the honors program.
I am privileged to direct the honors program for the major. The work that your colleagues do and that you will be doing by your senior year is awe-inspiring. It was remarkable to learn from all of you about subjects as varied as not only improving affordable housing, but living standards within public housing. One of your colleagues did a phenomenal project that explained just what improving rodent control, for example, how that would improve living standards and the extent to which disease in some of the projects are a result of the problem of rodents. Another project that was equally awe-inspiring was about how you could change the lives of migrant workers in California simply by assuring access to landline telephones that they could use to call home, or to make sure that they could get appointments at health clinics. Given that the cost of an iPhone, of an Android, is just too high for migrant workers, getting access to a phone is a major priority and should be. Another student thought about how your generation in particular can save more for your retirement. Obviously, you're not thinking about your retirement right now. I don't want you to think about it, but there should be some structural incentives for you, not only to help you deal with student debt, but also begin to lay a basis for retirement many, many decades ahead. And finally, one member of your cohort was thinking about some of the consequences of climate change and urban sprawl in Colorado, and how to manage Colorado's water resources better, more effectively, not simply for Colorado, but for neighboring states. These are just 4 examples of the remarkable projects that students did last year in the honors program, and I'm fortunate enough to be directing the program again this semester. And I can tell you already from discussions with members of the class that I am in for a real treat when the end of the semester rolls around and the projects come in.
So as Tim has shared with us, this is a really new major. We don't have many classes of graduates, but our alums are really involved in amazing work. I just kind of wanted to show a few of the organizations where they're at. They're making an impact in government, in law, nonprofits, and advocacy organizations, consulting and finance. We have a lot of students who pursued public service fellowships, like the Teach for America, the new Govern for America, Peace Corps. And we also have students who are in a variety of graduate and law school. So already, and we don't have like the long-term data to see the long-term impact that our alums are doing just because we're new, but already we're just seeing that they're doing amazing work, and soon we'll have this great alumni network that can support our current students.